Good evening, Jyotish patrons, and welcome to Jyotish Kasi's YouTube channel. I'm sure that most of you have either heard or actually watching at this particular time the beautiful conjunction or alignment of Jupiter in the night sky, especially if you're somewhere in the northeast of the United States. You should be able to view it very beautifully. So it's a very rare astronomical occurrence, and I believe each of you are asking, "Wow, this is great. So what? How does it affect me?" So here are some practical pointers for you to consider from astrological perspective. At the end of the day, the conjunction is nothing but a transit in the sky, right? So, as I mentioned in my previous videos, the effect of transit on your chart is about 10%, okay, for of all your life experiences. However, these 10% sometimes can be significant, okay? Remember that your experiences are governed by the boundaries set by your natal horoscope. Okay, that's very important for you to know that. So, although the effect of the transit in the events in your life is only about 10%, it could be an important 10%, like really triggering an event that is actually promised in your natal horoscope. Okay, so the primary thing to consider astrologically about this particular transit or the conjunction, you may say, of the Jupiter and Saturn is the peculiarity of this conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn. What is this peculiarity? The peculiarity is that Jupiter is under the shadow of Saturn because of two reasons. Jupiter is at this time in Capricorn, a Rashi that's owned and ruled by Saturn. Saturn rules Makara Rashi or Capricorn. Secondly, Jupiter is debilitated and quite weak in the sign of Capricorn or Makara Rashi. So these two are very important factors to be considered. So let's get into what really it means to you. First, let's take a look at your Rashi, right? If your Rashi, that is the Rashi or the sign in which moon is located in your horoscope, okay? If it happens to be Dhanur or Sagittarius, you need to watch out for a some kind of a family feud, okay? B, liquidity crunch in terms of cash and assets that are easily convertible to cash quickly. So there will be a crunch for these kind of assets. And in terms of your health, watch out for issues related to thyroid and throat in general. Okay. And if you're a Capricorn Rashi, that is, moon is located in your horoscope in Capricorn or Makara Rashi, there will be significant instability in life, if not physically, mentally. Okay. You may also be displaced either at home or at work. Thirdly, if you're a Kumbha Rashi, right, or Aquarius, if your moon is in the Aquarius sign in your natal horoscope, you need to guard yourself with all kinds of losses pertaining to your health and wealth. So be conservative in your approach and keep a low profile. Okay, that's one thing. Now, the second is look at the role of Jupiter in your horoscope. I think that is very important. Okay, people generally think that Jupiter is a benefic graha and will always bring benefic results. That is not true for everyone. For some horoscopes, like where your ascendant or the rising sign is either Taurus, that is Vrishabha, or Tula, that is Libra, Jupiter can be dangerously malefic. So, those with these two ascendants specifically, watch out for the challenging effects of Jupiter, which is at this time in the shadow of Saturn. Now, speaking of Saturn, also look at the role of Saturn in your horoscope. Again, the general notion is that Saturn is always malefic and gives very poor results. That is also a misnomer. Again, for some ascendants, like I described before, Taurus and Libra ascendants, right? Saturn is a very beneficial graha. It's a functionally a very beneficial graha, and it can bestow some excellent results. So, while being in its own house in Capricorn and also in control of Jupiter, if that Saturn is very well positioned in your horoscope, it can neutralize the ill effects of Jupiter, or at the very least, keep those in check. Okay. So, that the role of these two grahas in your natal horoscope is very important for you to know. Last but not the least, consider the Mahadasha and the Antaradasha that you are in. Okay. The graha that rules your Mahadasha and Antaradasha play a very significant role in the events that are happening during this time period in your life. So, if the Lord of Mahadasha and Antaradasha is either Jupiter or Saturn or both, respectively, get smart, and you must consult an astrologer and seek proper guidance to tackle the upcoming events in your life, which could either be positive or negative. And there are several other considerations that I have not mentioned here to keep this video short. So, to conclude, the effect of the current wonderful transit of Jupiter and Saturn, which are closely conjuncting to the exact degree as I'm talking right now, the effect of that on you individually is purely dependent on your individual horoscope. Avoid taking generic statements and come to misleading conclusions. Consult a good astrologer to lead an intelligent life. Thank you, and I will see you again soon.